talk about anything you want, and I'll get confirmation in the chat room that we're live. Yeah, Eager Beaver says we're 5 by 5. So go ahead, Lon.
Well, I hope everybody's having a great 4th so far. Today I'm on the West Coast, so we're just getting kind of started on the day, and a lot of people are getting well into the afternoon and already having their picnics. We just had our coffee and breakfast here, but and of course I sent you a couple of shots, Field. I think you saw where I was at.
Yep, you're near Bill Gates.
Well, right in the neighborhood.
Okay, I understand. I'll put them up after the show. I also want to apologize to the lady at Winrock in Arkansas. Your photos are great, but they might be too much file size. So if you could send me the 2 photos of the agent adult lady in Arkansas and the mafia of 3 to 14-year-olds, I'll put them in after the show. Okay, go ahead, Juan.
Well, we're all having a fun time out here, and looking forward to some great fireworks, some fun time. Did you see, Field, that I sent you a connection to a YouTube link that was posted today by Brian Small, who did a sketch of our Yensid wizard, our Western wizard, our American wizard, that he did over the last few days. Did you see that?
Yes, I did, and I'm checking right now to see if I put that in the radio show, and I don't know if it got in, because I tried to load a couple of pictures at the end. Actually, I tried to load a couple of pictures well before the end, and I was getting some strange reactions. But yes, I did see it. It's a time-lapse photo of him drawing JFK Jr., and is the other person he drew first, was that Trump? I can't remember, or was it a Patriot?
No, it's Patriot. In fact, that is the image that is our, Disney has been part of a group, a cabal that's been trying to cast a spell over the country, and they're actors and actresses with all of their wizardry to get us to buy into some of the lunacy of look at all the Disney girls. I think of Katy Perry and the rest of them with their antics that are very anti-American and anti-God. And how do you unwind that kind of insanity? How do you shatter those spells that have been cast on the country? And what Brian has put together for us, he and I talked for several hours on a couple different occasions, and he sketched out some different ideas, and we bantered back and forth. And this is what he came up with. The guy is just a phenomenally skilled artist, and I'm just, I couldn't be more impressed with what he came up with. And of course, our wizard has to have a magic wand also, I suppose. And so what's our magic wand? The quill.
Okay.
And he's got a constitution in one hand. He's wielding it like a baseball bat. And he's got a quill to zap out the magic from our own side. And once he popped out with his first anti-magic spell thing, the wand mask, the JFK Jr. mask, and so just was very fun. And we'll look forward to a lot more from him. And amazingly, that's a very tiny picture there. As detailed as it is, it's only a little bigger than a postcard. But the guy is just such an amazing artist.
Okay.
And so that is our Yensid Western wizard with his quill for a magic wand to correct and get back on track things that have gone awry in our country. So I hope folks will latch on to that. That I think will have legs and will be around for a very long time. Did you also notice, Field, I sent you another link apparently Rolling Stone did an article on us yesterday on what's going on, Rolling Stone magazine, wondering about the reappearance of JFK Jr. And so, certainly we have the attention of a lot of people wondering, what's up, and not fully understanding that it's also about in the spirit of we're taking our country back, and we're coming together as a group, as patriots, and this is really starting to gel within the Q movement and associated with the Q movement. And so I think the fact that we got any press there at all is very good. And I will say this, I thought the author, from where he's coming from, both the location and then just looking at this from the outside, I thought he did a very fair, even-handed look, and it certainly wasn't tortuous. There was horrible barbs in there. We confound so many of the people that are looking from the outside. And the one thing I do want to remind, especially our listeners here, Field, those that are here in this audience, there's a lot of people that are just now kind of waking up. Imagine Linda McAllister, who does these phenomenal videos, and she just cranks them out and fresh stuff every week, several times a week. And she did a great video today too, by the way. Just a few-minute video. She worked over at CNN. She tells everybody, she was as liberal as any of them. She was pro-abortion and everything. She just didn't know. She hadn't really thought it through all the way. And then somewhere in there, she had an awakening series of events, and now she's completely flipped the other direction. She totally gets it. We have a lot of our neighbors and friends, relatives, we're going to cross paths with today, and they're not really understanding where we're coming from. They haven't been paying attention up to this point in time, other than little cues here and there. And so I hope that all of the Eagle Danger audience will, take a few breaths, relax. We don't need to beat anybody over the head, but we do need to keep tension on the line. It's like a old business acquaintance that I had. Everything was about fishing. It's, everything that happened, well, it's just like fishing. and the point being, you got to keep tension on the line. You can't let it slack up. They'll throw the hook. We're out there. We're present. We're an occupying army, and we're taking ground and holding it. And there's a lot of people that are just kind of coming up to speed and warming up, and as the revelations of just exactly what's been going on in the country with these cabals, these secret handshake clubs, maneuvering and manipulating us, as it becomes more and more apparent, as the facts come out more and more fully, including the foreign orchestration from foreign soil of traitors in our midst, operating here as though they're fellow patriots, and they aren't, even if they're in positions of high office. As those revelations of what has actually been occurring come to the fore, we're going to see that a lot of these people that were naively, casually associated with these camps because it was okay and cool and acceptable, and that's the people they associated with, business and personal, and they didn't want to be, an outsider. They didn't want to be an outcast. They didn't want to be a kook or a crazy or a conspiracy theorist. As they come to the realization that conspiracies are real, and that we have been being conspired against by people in our midst, portraying themselves as patriots and in positions of authority. As that becomes more and more apparent, they're going to have to think again and make a decision and the line is being drawn, they're going to have to pick a side, pick a lane, and they won't be able to ride the fence because the facts, the details are going to be so compelling. So we need to be sensitive that we give them room to recognize that they may not have understood completely and choose correctly and change their mind and join us. We do need the numbers. We need that to save the nation, if you will. And the only way this whole movement not just survives but prevails is that we bring the vast majority of fellow citizens to the conversation and to the right side of that line, and leave room to shake hands and welcome them all in. Hey, join us. The water's fine. Let's go. That's where we have to be very sensitive to how we're heard, how we're seen. I think the Rolling Stones article is an indicator. There wasn't vile contempt. There was just kind of a shocking awe, and well, this just can't be true, but people believe it. But at the end, let's have some fun. I'll put a mask out. They don't understand us, so give us room. Give them room to think again, and then be willing to, receive with open arms those that do want to join us. And just like a Linda McAllister, who can be how would this movement be diminished if it wasn't for people like her coming on board? Brian Small and I talked about this the other day, and he was kind of didn't really have a political side or anything, but suddenly, his wife talked about the Q movement and information, and he kind of blew it off at first, and then over time, it suddenly started to gel, and then bang, it clicked, and all of a sudden, he got it. That's what we want. We're not adversarial. We're ready to bring fellow citizens together, and this is one of those gathering days that we as citizens enjoy, the founding of our country, the Constitution of Freedom, and we get a chance to yuck it up a bit, have some fun. A word in season, it doesn't mean get out of your soapbox and dominate everything about the day. Let people just enjoy the day, but a few words here or there, that's going to be huge. That's going to be big field, and I think that's what we have to do. So I'm hopeful that all of the Able Danger audience will participate in that way and make a difference. And back to you, Phil.
Yeah, I've put up a fair amount of images of your brainchild, the JFK mask, which reminds me, pardon me, I'm going to keep talking, but I got to go get my mask on in case the FBI is looking for me. I don't want them to find me, so let me slip into my disguise. I think I'm pretty much a dead ringer for JFK Jr., and I hope he is not a dead ringer. But now I'm in disguise, I feel much more invincible. In fact, I am woman, hear me roar. And I'm real hard to ignore.
I feel like I'm looking in the mirror here, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, am I a dead ringer or what? Yeah, but anyway, there's a lot of people that are sending me pictures, and there's a woman whose name I've already forgot, and I'm not being disrespectful intentionally, it just comes by my nature. But there's a woman who sent me a couple of pictures, including the last one that I think I put in the chat room, which is three ladies with JFK disguises in a really large meeting room somewhere. It could be like Grand Central Station or Washington, D.C., or JR's bar in Plum City, but it's just an enormous place. And I have no idea where it is, if anybody could figure it out for me. Thank you, Agent Cutter. And people that have seen my face when I had my mask on, a guy or gal named Breeby72 said it's dead on. I want to let you know that as far as the drawing goes, And something else you mentioned, I put both of them in the chat room, so at least the people that are in the Able Danger chat room are seeing what it is that you were hoping they would see. Yes, I had to scroll up past the osprey, which is a bird of prey screaming with its wings folded. And that's like, there's certain swing wing aircraft, including the B-1 bomber, the F-111, there's a Russian swing wing. But aircraft that can go really fast but have to land really slow, one way they achieve that is by having and the F-14, of course, had a swing wing. But there's a lot of people that are, oh, I see this one lady, wait a minute, JFK DC. Are you in the chat room right now, Juan?
Yes. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, when you get a chance, I don't know if you're talking on a handheld cell phone. I think you might be. But
oh, yeah, I
am. Is there any place I could send a picture to you right now, even if you can't pick it up? Should I send it to your email?
Yeah, send it to the text if you would there, Phil. That'd be fine.
Yeah, well, text?
Or the email. I mean, that works too. Sure.
Okay. I have determined that the meeting place is in Washington, D.C., and there are three people, all ladies, that I don't recognize. One has a JFK, the image that you created with the red hat.
Mm-hmm.
And one lady has a white T-shirt.
I will not take credit for that. That was Jennifer Mack that created that image. She's done just, oh my gosh, she's something else.
Yeah, she is, and you're right. I knew that. I wanted to throw you a bone, so to speak.
Yeah.
But one lady is wearing a white T-shirt and it's printed with the image from Jen Mack. The center lady is dressed in a more formal thing with a great big impressive straw hat, and on the top of her straw hat is the JFK Jr., and next to them is a woman with a white top and blue pants, like maybe shorts or maybe jeans, and she's got the mask over her face. Now those are three ladies that I don't know who they are, but they're in Washington, drawing attention to you and us. I also put in the YouTube, I put into the chat room the link to the Rolling Stones article, and so it's nice to see. I just got corrected by Free A. Free A, you didn't really correct me because an F-111 and an FB-111 are the same aircraft. One of them had one mission, one of them had the other. But anyway, you're correct, and you're also incorrect. In other words, you're right. Isn't that funny how English is such a great language where you can be correct and incorrect at the same time?
Yes.
But I really do truly appreciate people that do correct me because I don't learn anything by listening to myself. And that's why I think I'm having three other guests on today. Juan, you stay as long as you want, but I believe that Agent Marcy, who lives, half a block from where I'm sitting, she's in Washington, and she's going to call in at some point. We have a Canadian fellow who knows a lot, if you consider, if one person in Canada knows enough to bring down the entire administration of Fidel's bastard who parades around as Justin or Justina, I think he goes both ways. I know he's a pedophile. And I know that he sponsored some murders. And I'll stop right there because I don't want Mike Pence getting mad at me like he was mad at Tory Smith before Tory Smith slipped on a banana peel. And I know he's mad at Timothy Charles Holmseth because I didn't say Timothy Charles Holmseth is hiding out in my Studebaker barn. And I didn't say that he's in the third level of my house. All I do know is that Timothy Charles Holmseth is safe, secure, and he has a trial date, and it's somewhere between the 21st and 25th of August. Oh, I forgot, I got to cover up there. Between the 21st and 25th of August, there is a prosecutor in East Grand Forks, Minnesota, who is prosecuting a case out of Florida against Timothy Charles Holmseth. And Timothy Charles Holmseth is a journalist who has published evidence of Mike Pence being a pedophile and a child murderer. I got to look out carefully and make sure nobody's trying to shoot me. Okay, I'm safe to speak, and even though I'm safe to speak, over to you, Juan.
I just sent you a couple of shots from top deck there, and we're having a good time out here, so it's beautiful. The one thing I want everybody to, for real, do is we get so caught up in all the details of reading the latest post, looking at the last video, doing all this stuff. The whole idea of this day is enjoy the family, enjoy the kids, enjoy life, and so we want to keep this short. We don't want to distract from all the really fun stuff that you can't do any other day near as well as you can do today. I know there's some of the folks here in the audience that don't have the same access to family or friends. Sometimes to stay on, people have to work. They'll listen to this later. Whatever you got to do, try to find a way to be around people and enjoy people. There's been lots of years where I've been unable to be with people I wanted to be with. But I still made an effort, even if it was just myself, to go watch a fireworks show. Just get out and go do it and enjoy it. And I've always been glad I did, even just watching all the other little kids running around and enjoying life and being thankful to our Creator for the opportunity to be here at all and to take a breath and enjoy the day. We are blessed to have been born in this country and to have all the opportunities here. And part of the victory is actually to enjoy those things and to soak it in and to have thankfulness in your heart for getting to enjoy it. And then taking that very same enjoyment, savoring, and realize that there are others who haven't had that moment or don't get those moments day to day, not just here in our country, but in other countries. And it's our responsibility as humans, as children of Adam, to try to help others to get those same types of enjoyment opportunities for life. And that's what we're here doing. We're pushing back on this evil clan that hide in plain sight and want to make us their slaves and to own us and to control every moment of our lives and to use all of our energies and labors to their advantage for their purposes. We're done with that. It's over. We're not going to be their slaves anymore. And so I'm anxious for us to make sure that people actually do enjoy what it is that this is all about, and rejuvenate, recharge, so we can get right back to the fight and have a very fun weekend. A very fun weekend. And I will also, feel a lot of people are all stressed out about, there's a little one there that's going to make some noise. If you hear some racket in the background, that's why we're here in the first place. There's a lot of stuff that happened this week, and a lot of people are peripherally aware of it, but they don't necessarily know what to make of it. We have some dramas that are going on, and oftentimes it make the hair curl on the back of your head if you knew every last detail. And that's why we pray for our president and for those men and women that are working hard to keep us safe and to keep stability in the country, in spite of the fact that there's a bunch of people that don't want us to have peace and be able to enjoy our families and our lives. And you should just take comfort. You might not know all the details, and it doesn't serve any purpose to get people wound up a lot of times over a lot of those details because, they're not in a position to do something about it. All they're going to do is hand wring. And some of it comes out later. But the reality is, as we've seen thus far, we're here intact. A lot of people didn't want us here intact. If we had got her as our president, our life would be horrendously different, and we need to be thankful that we've made it this far intact. And the same Father in heaven that got us this far is more than able, more than capable of bringing us through all of this. And that confounds these people on the left. As soon as we talk about our Father in heaven, have a divine perspective, they can't compute. They don't get that because they think we're nuts to think that there's some power outside of this world that is capable of controlling and orchestrating and canceling evil. But the reality is, from our perspective within this community, we do understand that. That's integral to this whole concept of American freedom. It's a God principle. To want freedom, it's put in our soul from birth. To want and desire freedom from all these yokes. And that's what drove those men on the day that this Constitution was signed in the first place. Not that they themselves, that small little group of men, did this all by themselves. The pressure was on from a whole nation of people who were fed up. They had come here, their parents had come here to get out from under the yoke of this European idea of kings and lords and ownership and mastery of the people. They came here to have their own life independent of bullshit. And it was the people that drove the issue to the point that those men formulated this Constitution, this holy document that's beyond any of the individuals, beyond even any of the cabals that were present trying to put this together, this great American experiment. It was the people themselves in out across the country that forced the issue, and it finally rose to the level of, yes, and we're going to have a nation of our own, and we are going to be independent, and we aren't going to be their slaves anymore. So even now, it's the same issue. We have to have the numbers. We need to bring in our neighbors, our relatives, our friends, the people we work around. We need to give them room to think again, reconsider what they have been doing, thinking, how they've acted, functioned, and to consider joining us, and to be enjoyable enough, pleasant enough to have them decide, yeah, I could see this, I want to be part of it, and be attractive in that. If you look at the Linda McAllister video that she did just a little while ago this morning, you see people just having a great time with even just the idea that they making America great again. It's a blast. It's a lot of fun. We're the funnest movement on the planet. Look at this mainstream. Look at Hollywood. They're spewing venom. They're in hate. They're pissed off. They don't have a happy moment in the day practically. You look at Obama and Clooney riding around in the boat over there in Lake Como in Italy the other day. Neither of them smiling. They're not having fun. If they do have a smile, it's a tortured smile. It's not a pleasant, from the gut, happy. And we have the advantage because what we're doing is actually for real good. And we're freeing the country. And we have a movement here that gets it. And we're having some fun doing it. And we're pushing back. Savor, enjoy the day, and I think that's all I got for you, Field. going to enjoy the day. Had a great breakfast. I'm going to have a great lunch. I'm going to have a great afternoon snack. I'm going to have a great dinner. I'm going to have a scotch or two, and I'm going to enjoy the fireworks. We're going to park right underneath them, and it's going to be a blast.
Okay, well, if you want to stop in later, I'm over at Bill Gates' house. We're just distributing vaccines to some of our dealers in Sub-Saharan Africa. But we can take a break too, and if you want to come over and visit Gates and I, please bring the scotch along and maybe some cups.
Well, actually, I don't know. Some of those fireworks might not go off before they come back down to the ground, so we'll have to see how that goes.
Okay, well, you make sure you're safe, and thank you for calling in. And next time you call in, let's talk about the Russian submersible, which had 25 people on the crew and 14 died. But we don't have time for right now. We're celebrating America, but wishing America's blessings upon the entire world. And we have, I've been getting lots of masks while you were talking, and I'm putting them all up in the chat room. So,
oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. Gosh, I can't believe it. Okay, so Field, listen. Everybody pay attention now. Listen really close. As for the masks, you know, Field offered some signed books. Field and a couple of folks put together, you know, just this stuff from some talks that we did earlier in the year, Field.
yep.
And it's gonna be kind of fun. It's just gonna be kind of fun. But we got the books there. They're gonna be printed here shortly, and Field and I are gonna sign some for various folks. So over at Space Shot, if you remember Field, the person that runs Space Shot 76, he reposted one of your shows with your permission, Field, an interview we did a couple weeks ago, and he got 100,000 hits that at least YouTube let us know happened. Might have been more than that for all we know, and I'm very grateful to him for doing that. So I let him know that we'd throw 5 books in there for anybody that identifies themselves as one of Space Shot's listeners that showed up and that posts a picture of the junior mask over this next few days at the Yensid site, because that's where you go. You go to yensid.com and post the pictures that you have. That's what we're using here. Naval Danger is our site for posting those pictures over at Yensid, reversing and breaking the magic, the spell that's been cast over the country. And so if you post it over there and you put some kind of a note that you're from Space Shot's audience, then you'll get special consideration, because we're giving 5 books away just to people that identify themselves as having been from Space Shot's audience, maybe heard that interview, and I want to make sure they get called out. Now, second of all, another fantastic ally who has really been working with us on some of the issues behind the scenes is Red Pill 78. So Space Shot 76 and Red Pill 78 have a lot of shared audience there, and Red Pill 78, he does just fantastic quick news updates, and just as Space Shot 76 does. They both kind of have their own little audiences, some overlap. So now there's a little rivalry here, because I'm also going to provide 5 books for Red Pill 78's audience. So whichever audience, Red Pill 78 or Space Shot 76, gets the most submissions, we're going to add 5 more books. They'll get 10. So if we have X number of submissions from Space Shots, they'll get the extra 5 if theirs is more than Red Pills. But they both have huge audiences. So either way, both audiences, if you know yourself, you're a Space Shot guy, in that we're going to pick 5 out of those ones that identify themselves as coming from their audience, Red Pill or Space Shots. And then whichever one of those 2 has the most submissions, if it's even 1 submission more than the other guy, we're gonna add an extra $5 for that audience, so they're gonna get the sweeter deal. So there's a little rivalry there. They're great guys. They're fun, and I think that we're gonna have some fun with them. And we'll watch that. What I'm looking for most of all is any sightings here on the 4th of July, especially with the fireworks and everything else. And then I am actually going to be out in the community a couple of times myself here, besides being on the top deck for the actual fireworks itself. And so we're going to have some fun. We'll see who finds out that we're here. And you've narrowed it down too close in the zip code, so I'm going to have to change zip codes pretty quickly thereafter.
Okay. Well, listen, I've got an Apache attack helicopter hovering a mile and a quarter at 345 degrees magnetic, and he's not using his main engine or his rotor. He's got an anti-graviter device on his Apache. If you need help, during the fireworks or at any time, just come up on 323.0 and ask for Agent Chips.
Well, and you know what I got, I think you've seen mine. So, well, anyway, I appreciate it. I hope people will really get out and enjoy it, get some pictures, and show us if you've seen Junior. And, the reality is he has arrived just as advertised on July 4th. And so everybody was right. And there's still yet more to come. We have weeks and months of more fun and drama, and you haven't heard the last of that whole scenario yet. There's revelations coming that are just going to, they're just going to shock the crap out of people. We're going to have some fun in the meantime. And just imagine being on the other side of this whole thing. Oh, I got to tell you this. Oh, my gosh. Oh, jeez. So, if anybody thinks that we're not getting under the skin of these assholes who've been putting it to us for so very long, and who have this smug, snide attitude of superiority, and we're supposed to just, go along with all their crap. Do you know what Jeb Bush posted today on his tweet? Did you see that, Field?
No, what did he post?
That little shithead. He posted, July 4th. Historically, 3 presidents have died on July 4th.
What a jerk.
If that isn't an in-your-face threat, don't act smug like, oh, well, gee, just a little history fact. Fuck you, Jeb Bush, you little shit. What an asshole, you little shit. You thought that was funny? This is our president. This is our country. Don't make threats, idle threats, like that against our president. It won't play well, especially as other facts come out about what's really going on. Own the team you're on, just like you did today with that stupid ass post. I hope you're embarrassed as much as anybody ever on this planet is over that kind of a bullshit post. Fuck you.
Do you mind if I give a
That's
name?
all I have to say, Field. I'm a little wound up on that.
Okay, but before you go, I want to interpret what you just said about the entire Bush family. Do you mind if I interpret what you said?
Sure.
Yeah. These motherfucking flaccid, kiss-ass, asshole, motherfucking dog shit bootlickers are not living in their element now. They're living in our element, and Jeb Bush participated in the murder of Colonel James Sabow, S-A-B-O-W, and I've got Sabow's hearse outside my store in Plum City, and I want the world to know that the license plates on the hearse, and I'll go take a picture before I get off the air, it says Sabow 3, S-A-B-O-W 3. They're legitimate Wisconsin plates, and Sabow 3 refers to George H.W. Bush, Jeb Bush, and General Al Gray, who is a homosexual and also a flaming queen. He wasn't just a closet homosexual. He was a flaming queen, and he was the commandant of the Marine Corps. So little Debbie, go back and turn yourself back into little Debbie, because nobody gives a flying fuck about you. The Bushes and the Clintons, Marcy and the two guys married each other, one of which is from Hawaii and one of which has big shoulders. You know, we're tired of your act. Get the fuck out of here before I get pissed off. Okay, Juan, on a brighter note.
Well, one other thing I wanted to mention, Field, you know, I don't know who does it, and I'm sure we have plenty of people who can. I carry a few challenge coins in my pocket from time to time, and many of your listeners may not know what a challenge coin is. So, amongst military members, a lot of times you'll get a coin for certain operations you were on, certain places you were, and they get handed off between people. And if you go in to have a beer, if a guy decides he wants to challenge, he'll put his coin down under his hand on the bar top. And anybody that wants to have a challenge over who's got the most prestigious, important, highest rank coin from some type of event can pull their coin out of their pocket and throw it down on the bar, and then everybody reveals what's under their hand. And whoever has the lowest one, they buy the beers. Sometimes they'll flip it and say, no, whoever's got the highest one gets to buy the beers. And, you know, a guy like me or you feel would try to flip it because we love buying beers for patriots and for good guys. And in my case, scotches. And I prefer scotch myself. But we'll have some fun. And I have never seen a Colonel Sabao challenge coin, and I've got quite a few. I've been very gifted to have gotten some palmed off. In fact, you'll see where the president sometimes will hand off a challenge coin to guys in certain situations as a thank you and an acknowledgement of their service and presence. I think it'd be beautiful if we could find one of the folks that makes challenge coins to make an Able Danger challenge coin for Colonel Sabao, and as a note to his brother that we aren't going to forget, and no matter where he's at in our father's timing to bring him home and to join him back up with his brother, we're not going to forget what Colonel Sabao tried to do, was in the process of doing, and that they tried to stop short. This op isn't over. We're coming to get you, and being high, we're coming to get you. And even if somehow you take yourself off the planet or you expire, you get called back in. I'd sure hate to be some of these people showing up before an angry Father in heaven and giving an account of themselves. They're not going to escape even in death. God's paying attention. So if there's somebody out there that could make a challenge claim for Able Danger that has that skill set, I think that'd be a beautiful gesture. I'm just making a shout out to Forest Field.
Okay, can I respond on behalf of the Sabao family?
Sure.
I talked to him yesterday. I talked to Dr. Sabao at about, I would say it was about 5:30 my time. He called, and he didn't do it on purpose. He interrupted another call because I was talking to someone else, and when I saw it was Dr. Sabao, I was quite concerned for his health when he didn't show up Monday. So I talked to him yesterday, and I said, I'm really glad you called me because I got confirmation on Thursday morning that your brother's murder had been brought up with President Trump shortly after President Trump landed at Andrews Air Force Base, which is now called Joint Forces Base Andrews, I think. But I said, it's the issue of your brother's murder is before Trump and his Marines now. And this guy at 78 and a quadriplegic, it sounded like he was jumping up and down and doing handsprings. He was so happy to hear that it was possible that somebody was going to take a look at that murder. And just so people don't think I can't remember things, the 5 people involved in that murder, as I recall them, and I recall them pretty good, George H.W. Bush gave the kill order. He delivered it to number 2, General Al Green, who was then the Commandant of the Marine Corps. He shared it with retired 4-star General Davis. He shared it with a Brigadier General on El Toro Marine Corps Air Station, whose name is Wayne T. Adams. And Wayne T. Adams is the fuck up because he sent a message before midnight on the 21st of January. He sent an official message from El Toro Operations back to the Pentagon and said that, you know, he's really heartbroken to have to share the truth that Colonel Sabal died, you know, a couple hours ago. Well, actually, he really fucked it up because they hadn't killed him yet. So right there, 1-star General Wayne T. Adams screwed the rest of the players because he showed that it was planned on the 21st and he just screwed up his time. But then there was a guy next door neighbor to Colonel Sabo was a guy whose real name is Colonel Joseph Underwood, but I call him Porky because he was too obese to fly active Marine Corps aircraft. And, you know, I write some fiction, and I said I met Porky's wife at the El Toro O Club, and she confided in me how she didn't consider him attractive in a certain way anymore. But, no, I tell you what, you fuck with the Sabars, you fuck with one Marine, you're going to have to fuck with all of us. And if you want to see all the Marines get together on another issue, pedophilia. You know, there's not a real Marine out there that's going to turn the other way if there's some pedophilia going on. So I think we're in really sacred territory here. And for those of you who go to church 1 hour a week and say, Christians don't talk like that, I say, no, not the ones that have feather dusters, but the ones that have swords do. And we'll go to any length to make children in this country and every country around the world more safe. That's what the Children's Crusade's all about. But let's focus on Colonel James Sabow today and President Trump. And just for a little counterbalance, let's focus on Jeb Bush. And Jebby, nobody liked your father. They knew he was a pedophile and he was a homosexual and he was a Nazi and he was a piece of shit. Or for our Texas friends, he is a fucking piece of shit. So anyway, thanks for chiming in today. And I'm going to keep going. And there's several other people that are going to call in. One being Mad Dog, hopefully. One being a guy that can put the entire Canadian government out of business. And maybe we'll talk about that. And Agent Marcy. But any last words from you, Juan, before you bow out?
Nope, I'm enjoying life. The ski boat just showed up, and I think we're gonna do some skiing here, and so we don't do that with the tender, and so we're gonna do some skiing here while we get the kids out. I'll probably make a pass or two myself, even as an old man. I enjoy to get out there and do that, and we're gonna just have some fun.
Well,
and I hope everybody in the audience has fun. Make it. That's your mission. That's your job today. Go have some fun. Make this a memorable day, personal.